Hi, Kevin Ledoux, the Pragmatic Luthier. I'm here with a long overdue update on the major surgery on this particular J53 model guitar that I built. You may recall that months ago I posted a video or two showing that this guitar came in, the original owner having died, and apparently the guitar was left out in the room with him, and it smelled terrible, and it was in awful condition. It was in the Southwest, very dry. And here's the old top. You may recall that I showed that. It was all split up, broken up very, very badly. So there's that. But finally, after a few months, the repair work on this has been completed. The top has been replaced. That, of course, required that the upper part of the body here had to be rebound, and the finish was rippling off this thing, and I think it got wet down at the lower bout, and that was all peeling away. So it's all been refinished. We went from, at the owner's request, that is the owner's brother-in-law, we went from a gloss finish back to a nice satin, which I'm really beginning to appreciate the value of a satin finish much more than a high gloss one anymore. Maybe it's my age. But the other portion of this video is that once again, as I reported several weeks ago, the obvious hit me once again, and I'm here to share that with you. Once completed, I realized that I failed to write down in anything I was doing with regard to this guitar what radius I domed the top to. And I have to remanufacture a new bridge for this. And I said, uh-oh, I don't know what dome I've got here. And that's not quite as easy to figure out as you might think, just a couple of measurements here and there, but it doesn't work that way. So once more, I came up with the obvious solution. I'm only 72 years old, so hey, better late than never, right? And I'll show you what that is. Well, as I thought about the problem of figuring out what exact dome that was, I thought, well, for the last several years, I have been working with 25-foot, 30-foot, and 40-foot dishes. So it's got to be one of those, I'm sure. So the obvious came to me, and I referred to these blocks that I have here. These are domed. I used my radius dish to dome these and glue sandpaper to them at a 25, 30 foot, and this smaller one is a 40-foot radius. And I thought, well, you just make some gauges. So I cut some thin slats of soft wood. This just happens to be white pine. And I just grabbed these doming platens here, if you want to call them that, and, just scrub away on there. Until you get that radius that you're after. And then I just, of course, grab a pen and write on there what that is. There it is. We got a 25-foot radius. And just before filming, I used my other two forms here, and I made a 30-foot and a 40-foot. And sure enough, I walked back out in the shop and set this over the top, and it's domed at a very nice 40-foot radius. So, once again, here's a trick that I hope you can use in your shop. And reporting that, the obvious hit me again. I don't know, maybe I'm getting overly simple as I get older. Who knows? At any rate, I'm the Pragmatic Luthier, Kevin Ledoux, still largest manufacturer of guitars in the town of Triangle, New York. See you again.